Excuse me, I'm Eric Lyncher.
Tiens, Xavier.
Go fuck yourself.
Hugh Jackman, bonjour.
Bonjour.
You've been Jean Valjean.
Yeah.
Who am I? Jean Valjean.
How was it to be Jean Valjean from Les Misérables?
Intimidating.
Yeah?
Exciting. It was one of the first jobs I had ever had where I actively sought it, wanted it, told people I wanted it, auditioned for it. It was something that I really went for, you know?
Do you know that in France, like Jean Valjean is more a superhero than Wolverine or Mr. Barnum?
I felt that way anyway. Obviously, in literary terms, it is one of the great characters of all time. So it was a nerve-wracking experience, you know, for sure.
Do you remember some French?
Un peu, not much. But mainly I learned 4 years of French at high school. But I'm not 25.
Do you know a French song?
The only one is one I learned at school.
Do you want to learn another one?
Yeah.
À la...
That one when I was
Ça
a kid.
plane pour moi. À la pêche au moule, moule, moule. Je ne veux plus y aller, maman.
J'en veux plus
Y aller, maman. Les gens de la ville, ville, ville.
Les gens de la ville, ville, ville.
M'ont pris mon panier, maman.
Mon prix, mon
panier, maman.
Yeah, there you go. I've got it now.
P.T. Barnum, at your service. I'm putting together a show. And I need a star. Every one of us is special. And nobody is like anyone else. That's the point of my show. I mean, you clearly have a flair for show business.
For show business?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of it.
Because I just invented it.
When I saw this movie, like the first question I wanted to ask you is like, what is your definition of an entertainer? Because that's a word that we're hearing every time now on the social media. This is entertaining, and every time like we feel like we have to be entertained, to be distracted from the life.
I don't think that entertaining has to be distracting necessarily. It can be escapist, it can be distracting, but ultimately someone who has the ability or power to move an audience from feeling one way to feeling another through whatever. It could be comedy, it could be music, it could be a drama, it could be anything, but I think an entertainer has an ability to connect with an audience, make an audience feel like they're talking directly to them, even if it's 3,000 people, and also give them a feeling of something special, like, oh, I was there that night when blah, 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 you know, a sense of occasion. I think that's my definition of an entertainer.
When I look at your life and how you grew up in Australia and what you've did, like living with a mother who left and a father who raised you and you who trained, who learned, who worked, what do you think, like, to be an entertainer, like, who can sing, dance, act?
I'm talking about Harvey on the griddle, milk in the middle, give me just a little, give me just a little. Ladies and gentlemen, your Craigslist dancers!
In a time where, when people have just to do selfies to be famous.
There's a lot in that question, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't begrudge anyone anything. I think, by the way, if you're just going to do selfies for a living, you better be really good at it because everyone's doing them. So, you know, it's easy to say, oh, these people are just famous for being famous, but that's not easy. That takes a lot of work. It's not what I wanted to do. I love telling stories. I like entertaining. I like being on stage. I know there's plenty of people out there who think it's a silly job. It's trivial. To me, it's fantastic. And, you know, if you get some kind of profile or power by taking selfies, use it for good.
Did you realize that the power has changed, that the media has changed?
It's been a great thing, to be honest, for movies anyway. In 15 years ago, if you had enough money to market a movie, you could create an event. You could actually create desire, anticipation, which, by the way, Barnum probably was the beginning of that, building things up into a frenzy. And you would have an opening weekend, and it wasn't until Monday morning when everyone went to work or went to school that they went, you know, that movie's terrible. It's shit. But that was 3 or 4 days after it opened. Now, the moment it opens, the whole world knows if it's bad. You can't trick people anymore. I think the quality of films have to get better, basically.
That movie is always talking about something really modern in the social media. It's like right now everybody's fighting for his difference and equality.
Yeah.
And that's the subject of that movie. Like
that subject became more important as we went along, because this has been a 7 or 8 year journey. I think at the beginning of it, it was more focused on the journey of Barnum overcoming his odds, the birth of show business, birth of marketing, the birth of modern day America. And I think the oddity story, the one of tolerance, inclusion, certainly became more and more important, became the heart of the film. When This Is Me was written, there was another song there for the oddities. And we thought it was okay, but not great. And when they wrote This Is Me, it was instantly clear that that was going to become the anthem.
Sharpest words wanna cut me down. Gonna send a flight, gonna drown around. This is spring, this is blues, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I go.
I was just sitting here thinking, I wonder if that's been a reaction to, I suppose, marketing, advertising. I mean, for so long since I was young, we've been shown images of what is good looking, of what is cool, of what is sexy, of the car we're meant to drive, of the clothes we're meant to wear, like being told that. And I think now because of this, and the power of people being able to say, oh, I don't like that. Oh, no, I don't want this. That now what is cool and what is sexy, what is courageous, what is inspirational is honesty and real. So this is me honoring who you are, even if it's different, even if it's uncool or even morally dubious to people. If it's who you are, and you're not hurting anyone, that has become the power. And thank God for that.
But you've been, for many men, like the model. Like, I want to be like Hugh Jackman. You've been that.
I think Wolverine, you mean. You mean Wolverine has?
I mean you.
Me?
Yeah. You're beautiful. You know it.
I don't know. I don't relate to that. I don't feel that. And by the way, I know I've been on the front cover.
Nobody in the world told to his coach, I want to be like me. Everybody told to his coach, I want to be like Hugh Jackman.
But wait, because when I was 21, no one was saying I want to be like Hugh Jackman. And I can tell you that for real, because I was going to the bars, I was going to parties, and no girl came up to me and said, oh my God, you are the sexiest man alive. Not one.
So you understand what I'm living.
Yeah, but now you're famous too.
No.
Yeah, but people read into something. You have a power that is different. People.
What have been your secret to change and to swipe? I'm not asking a diet because I saw you eating pizza on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where did you find the motivation to change your life and to be like a hard worker that you've been?
I've always been a hard worker. I think sometimes doing things that are uncomfortable, that are a little frightening, just a little bit, is the right thing. It's a fine line between feeling a little inferior, like, oh, I need to work really hard to pull that off, is good. Too much and you have an inferiority complex about everything, and you go into every situation thinking you're not quite good enough. That's bad. But just a little bit of uncomfortability is a good thing. A tennis player wants to play someone who's a little better at them to get better. So I think for me, owning that feeling, that being a little uncomfortable is a good thing. That was the key.
In your life, you've always been like some door closing to you, like when you wanted to have child, door closed,
Right.
you decided to adopt now. Congratulations, you're a happy father.
Very.
You were from Australia, so a lot of doors must be closed. You decided to move forward. You've been sick. You had this cancer. You decided to fight against it. Like, do you need in your life like to have closed door to crunch them?
It's a good question. I think, I do respond to adversity. If I'm getting it's like demeaned or pushed down, if I've ever been like that, I will fight. I'm a fighter. So I know some people run, some people fight. I'm not a fighter, I don't look for fights and all that. But if someone's going to push me, I will push back. So I don't know where that comes from. When I was young, I definitely had a fear. I was a fearful kid. I was afraid of heights. I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid of roller coasters. I was afraid a lot, and I hated that feeling because I missed out on a lot of stuff, was made fun of, and I just was determined not to feel closed in by fear, and I still had that. If something scares me, I now think I've got to go that way. It's like it's a roadmap for me.
When the world knew you, like with the Wolverine, you were in the game since 10 years. What do you want to go for the next 10 years? Like, because I saw that you were doing like some coffee in Ethiopia.
That Jackman met this young coffee grower who would forever change his life.
That you were taking more and more care of different actions.
Yeah.
I feel that you have a complex relationship with Hollywood and all this career.
I'm very grateful for my career, but I never want to be in a situation where I take it for granted, where I think it's my right, or where I think it's the most important thing in the world. You know, I'm an actor. I pretend. I'm in the business of illusion. So it doesn't take a very smart person to realize that Hollywood has more illusion in it than anything. You know, it will celebrate you for a while, and then it will dump you, and that's okay, you know. In the end, my focus has always been, I think, on myself, of challenging myself, looking for the truth and getting that internal journey. And in terms of the stories I tell, if I have the power, which right now I seem to have more power, of telling stories that I'm proud of, that have a message that I think is important, and doing work that I'm proud of, you know, that is executed really well. That was a long answer to say. I'm not sure what. I'm just not sure what is next.
We had to talk. It's a conversation. You know?
It's not really. I haven't asked you one question. I'm sorry.
You can.
This is a very one-sided talk.
I was talking about this coffee that you were doing, and you're using the power that you have with the social media to talk about it. When we see initiatives like the Love Army of Jérôme Jarre, and using the social media to move forward. Are you doing in this way?
Absolutely.
Because you met this guy from Ethiopia who are doing coffee.
I take my inspiration from Paul Newman and what he created with salad dressing and tomato sauce, you know, for pastas and things like that.
Every time you buy a Newman's Own product, 100% of the profits from your purchase start a journey towards improving someone's life. This is the story of one of those journeys.
I decided, after reading Paul Newman's book, that I should, while I have some power, I'll try and create a brand that will hopefully do good, like Paul Newman's continues to do long after I die, or long after my career dies. So rather than just sort of being attached to a charity, which I am ambassador for a couple, but of course, as soon as I'm not famous, let's get the new one in, and that's fine. But I love the model of creating something that creates jobs, a social business, creates jobs, is great for the growers in our case. You know, we give back directly to the farmers, and we'll keep going long after I'm gone. So that was some advice I got from Muhammad Yunus, who won the Nobel Prize and invented microcredit, and he said, this is the best way to use profile. So I had learned my whole life. My father and my mother both volunteered a lot, even after they retired, and all are constantly giving back. And a sense of civic duty and a sense of community was something that is normal to me. That's what I grew up in, and I try to pass on to my kids. So what I'm doing doesn't feel unusual. It feels like this is what, if you're a member of a society, this is what you should be doing.
I heard that you're going to be back in Wolverine. Is that true?
No, who told you that?
I heard that.
Ah. Maybe you're trying to stoke.
No, I'm not.
No, but I heard you were going to play the role.
No,
right? That's why you're growing
show
the...
me.
Huh?
No Klaus, no
They're in
yeah,
there,
yeah.
but only if you make me mad.
No, you have to be in Marvel Infinity.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
Why?
Because without you, it's not the same. It's like,
They'll be fine without me.
yeah.
Someone else will play it.
Et là, tu vois, je vais attaquer Vidocq, d'où la rouflaquette.
Donc c'est pas Wolverine.
Non, c'est pas Wolverine, non. Wolverin.
Last question. The show is called Clique. What is your definition of a clique?
A clique?
Yeah.
A connection, like a connection. Like, I'm a big believer in instinct, that actually our gut is smarter than our heads. So I think when you first meet someone, you get a feeling. And then we spend the rest of the time trying to justify it. But trust that. So that's my definition of clique. Clique.
Welcome to our clique.
It's good to talk to you.
Thank you very
I still
much.
did not ask you one question. So.
Okay.